Chicago Bears lost to the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. Head coach Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams both had press conferences. Let's react to what they had to say after that bitter cold game that the Bears lost 28-21.
To tie that game up, or whether it's overtime or go for the 2-point, so
curious to know if he would have went for 2-point conversion. I was talking about it earlier when the game was actually going on, but it was a decision that he was going to have to make. 2-point conversion, go for the win, or kick for the field goal. I like to think that he'd go for the win and the 2-point conversion. I guess we'll never know.
So really close at the end, but give a lot of credit to Green Bay. They made a couple more plays than us. Their offense was explosive. They found some big plays, resulted in touchdowns on us. And then fortunately there in the second half, our offense was able to find its footing a little bit, both in the run game and the passing game. And it felt like we had a little bit of rhythm. So made it a game, but fell short at the end of the day. So open it up from there.
In the last play, what was your hope on that play call, and what was your vantage point of how it unfolded there?
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of options there. I don't know exactly who's going to pop necessarily, but between the options that we have and then Caleb using his legs, was hopeful we could find a way to get a yard.
I am surprised by the play call. It might have been the same play call that they used against Philadelphia for a touchdown to Cole Kmet. It worked perfect against Philadelphia. On that rollout, you can see that there is a lane for Caleb Williams to run out of bounds for a first down. There also was DJ Moore in the flat, and then there's Cole Kmet, which it looks like he just hesitated on putting the ball on him a little bit earlier. I'm surprised with the way they were running the ball late in the game that they didn't just hand it off one more time. It is a 4th and 1. It is cold as hell. The Green Bay Packers versus the Bears. I wish they just would have ran the ball. I appreciate the aggressiveness, but running the ball would have been the move for me.
How do you attribute the difference in the offense between the first half and the second half, and how you guys did come to life?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a really good defense. I think at home this year, they're averaging 13.5 points per game and 240 yards per game. So we knew it was going to be a big challenge. You go on silent cadence against a really good pass rush group like that. They get off the ball and they pressure your quarterback, and we certainly felt that there in the first half and in the second half too. I thought Caleb was doing everything he could.
There are some crazy throws in that second half by Caleb Williams after an abysmal first half. It's a tough scene in the first half. There was that giant adjustment. They were able to get the ball down the field. They were able to kind of get the ball and the action rolling. You got the running game going. Got a couple nice plays of Luther Burton III. Got the tight ends involved. Colson Loveland had another big game. They were able to figure out a way to find success against the Packers defense.
Not go down, extend the play, and he found a couple big scrambles for us over the course of that game, which earlier in the season, you would have said that we really had a hard time finding. But, I think it was Duvernay down there on their sideline. That was a huge play. And then the Cole Kmet catch down on our sideline was a huge play as well. So, I think we got a prideful group. We weren't happy. We weren't pleased with our first half performance on offense. And sometimes just coming in and catching your breath for a second allows you to hit that reset button, and our guys responded the right way.
Ben, when you talk about the big plays that you guys gave up defensively, what kind of issues were you having in the secondary?
Yeah, that's one of those things. Again, I got to go back and I got to look at the tape. But it did seem like we were man-to-man on one of them, and their guy beat our guy.
Defensive secondary absolutely had a rough day. C.J. Gardner-Johnson got burned once. Jalen Johnson got burned a couple times. Brisker got burned a couple times. Byard got burned a couple times. It seems like they just all took turns at getting burned. The defense will regroup. This group is a talented group of individuals back there. They also need the defensive line to get after the quarterback. There wasn't a lot of pressure on Jordan Love today, so they just kind of sit there and pick the Bears apart. Pressure will equal better opportunities for the defensive backs to make plays.
On another one, they seemed like they had a good play design based on our coverage, and that happens at times. So I got to go back and I got to look at some of those and what we could have done a little bit better.
So what's the ripple effect of not having Rome short term here, and how those reps get distributed?
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of knew that going into the week that he may not be available, and so something that we're conscious of. The fortunate thing for us is we have weapons all over the place. Our tight end room is very strong. Our running back room is strong. We have a lot of depth in that receiver room. I know Luther certainly had a little bit more on his plate here this week, and I thought he handled it pretty well from my perspective without seeing the tape yet. And so I don't think that necessarily we missed a beat, but yet Rome is such a vital part of what we do, and in a lot of ways for Caleb, it's his blankie,
Rome has been dealing with a heel injury for quite a while now. They call it a stretch fracture. There is footage of Rome jumping up and down after the Ben Johnson speech on Black Friday. He was the one who put his hand through the wall, bang, right through the wall. Did he injure his foot on that jump? That is the question. Did Rome Odunze injure his foot on that jump? It's a big miss for him not to be in this game. Lutherburn III, though, had a great opportunity. He had a bunch of yards today, but a couple good catches. Colson Loveland stepped up as well.
But at the beginning of the fourth quarter, you guys really were blowing. The offensive line looked like they were kind of blowing them off the ball, getting like 6 carries. What was kind of the key there?
Same thing. I got to go back and I got to look at it. Some of them felt like they were, third and short variety. So I don't know if we were just hitting them in a soft spot. And I do know our backs were running hard. I did feel that. But, to your point, I do feel like we kind of picked it up a little bit as the game went. The first half, we weren't hitting at the same clip. We were probably more 2s and 3s than we were, those 5s or 6s.
Don't understand why they didn't run the ball. One more time. It has been the hallmark of this team is run the ball north and south. Monungai or Swift, whatever it is, you had the opportunity. It was 4th and 1 with the game on the line. I hope in the future Caleb Williams is the answer in that spot. To me, it was a running back, and they chose to give it to Caleb. The identity of the team is that they get takeaways. They find ways to run the ball down the throats of their opponents, and they didn't use it when they mattered the most. He got away from it. I thought he got too cute on that call.
Losing Kyler before the game, what kind of setback was that for your defense and your plans there?
We adjust on the fly. That's no problem. That's what we always do. And so we had a plan. DA does a great job with that. Next guys were popping up, and they answer the call, and we don't miss a beat that way. But Kyler's a really good player, and we're better when.
I completely missed that Kyler Gordon was out again. Dude can't stay healthy, Mr. Glass, but pre-game injury is brutal. Absolutely brutal. The Bears can't catch a break when it comes to injuries. It is what it is. Next man up.
What's your first experience in this rivalry like, with the environment, the intensity, and what's in your mind about circling back and seeing them again in 2 weeks?
Well, yeah, I think just in terms of playing at Lambeau, this is my 7th year in the division, and I do think there's some aura that comes with playing here, and competing here. I love it for our guys. There's, this is what the football gods made football to be, cold weather in December like this. And, Green Bay, Chicago, I think that's outstanding. So I think it's awesome to have this rivalry alive and well right now, and get another chance at it here in 2 weeks. So he didn't even get out on his route. And so Caleb did a nice job popping back to Colston and was able to find him. So it was good.
On that final pass, what's the key if Cole becomes the option there of getting the ball to him there?
Yeah, it's almost identical play from what we scored against Philly the week before. So
I'm glad they admit it's the same play, but I'm surprised that they would run the same play and not a little wrinkle in it. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it feels like it was the exact same play. Of course, the Packers are going to have some film on it. It's an interesting play call. And I think it just being identical is a weird thing to have happen for the Bears. And Ben Johnson to call it like that is an interesting move because they read it pretty well right away. And maybe Caleb was a touch behind and playing it. Hindsight's 2020 always, but that was an interesting play call. And I think there were options that were open, but for me, I still don't like it.
What have the last couple of games told you about just if this is a playoff team, if it feels like a playoff team?
Yeah, we'll be a playoff team once we earn enough wins to become a playoff team. So right now we're a 9-win team, and I don't think 9 wins is going to get you in this year. So we got to do what we can to get enough wins to.
That's a great answer from Coach. You are what you are. You're a 9-win team. You're not a playoff team yet. You have to make the wins and earn the way into the playoffs. It's a great perspective. The job's not finished by any means. You can be happy as Bears fans about them getting over 500. This team getting to 9 wins that quickly, they need to get over that hump and get in the playoffs. Now is the time to win. Every single season, the time is now to win. You don't wait till next year to try to win football games and get in the playoffs. You win right now. Find a way in the tournament. All right, next one's up is the Caleb Williams presser.
Through the final pass, kind of what your eyes are seeing and your decision-making process.
Yeah, we had about 2 or 3 guys in front of, either stacking Swift or, excuse me, stacking Swift or right there with Swift. And so rolled out and saw Cole and tried to give him a big boy ball, try and let him go up for it because I ended up seeing 25 starting to sprint, and so tried to slow him up and kind of give him a chance in those moments. It's got to have it moment, and they had a guy trailing me, and so didn't feel that I could go get it myself, and so just got to give Cole a better shot at it. I think next time just extend him a little bit more and kind of lead him. But in those moments you want to put the ball in play and trust your guy, or try to have your guy go make a play, and just got to give him a better ball.
Have you had a chance to rewatch it yet?
No, haven't watched it yet.
Sorry, what's the feeling in the locker room after coming so close? Is it evolution? What is the general feeling?
Yeah, it's frustration. Just because we shot ourselves in the foot, I think more than anything, and so I think that's where the frustration comes from. We had a great shot early in the game with the interception, defense doing a good job, and then we kind of let them get going, and they put up some points on the board, and we had to try and rally it, and it's not always going to work in our favor. And, we work our tail off to try and not have these situations, but when the situations do come, we gotta try and go make plays and try and come back and make the right plays to seal the win.
What's your gut?
I like his perspective. They have the opportunities to play a little bit better. They didn't make all the plays they needed to. He talked about wanting to get that ball up and over that defender before it got to Cole Kmet. It didn't happen. It's on the next. It's frustrating for sure because it's the Packers. It means a little bit more, but I like the way he's answering these questions so far.
How were you guys able to get in the rhythm in the second half? They really weren't in the first half.
Yeah, I think it's mindset, and I think it's just execution. Small details, something that we spoke about that they weren't necessarily confusing us or doing anything too out of the ordinary. It's a good D coordinator, and they've been a good defense throughout this year. But and kudos to them for making the plays when needed definitely at the end of the game. So but I think it was more of us shooting ourselves in the foot and not making the plays and the small details. And like I said, that's something that we spoke about in the locker room before we came back out. Is focus on the small details, doing our job, execution, and then we're able to start getting on the same plays. And then I think we had a couple good plays that made a spark for us, and we started to get going.
What was your feeling of the offensive rhythm in the second half? You guys really moved it well.
Yeah, I think that kind of what I just said. It's just we needed a spark, and we ended up having a spark with one of the passes, or we came out run the ball well and things like that. So I think it created a good momentum for us, and like I said, we were executing the small details.
It was impressive the way the Bears were able to come back in the second half. Seasons past, they would have just folded it in. They would have had the Packers just keep scoring points and not make it close. It's not a moral victory, but the team is as good as we think they are. They came back. They had a chance to put it into overtime, or maybe even a chance to win the game if they go for two. It didn't happen, but they were in the spot to win. Packers are a good football team. Bears are a good football team. We can be happy about the progress that we're seeing from this young team. And every single time they get on the field, they should be learning, and they are.
Extended play completion, you hit the Cole up your sideline in the third quarter. What did you see on that one?
Just saw Cole do a good job being aggressive and trying to make a play for the team. He got in front of and stacked the defender and just gave him a shot.
Caleb, independent of the result, what's the value of this team playing in this high leverage, high stakes, big stage?
Yeah. Obviously our goal is to win every single game, and our goal is to win these games and then get to the playoffs. And so it's a playoff atmosphere, and going versus a rival and things like that. So it's good for us to be able to find ways to rally, and obviously we want to focus on having a better outcome and starting faster and all these different things. But it's definitely definitely useful for us for just in case we go on the road at some point and in the playoffs and things like that. It's something that we're going to use in the future and throughout my career. But we got to focus on this next game coming up to get to that point.
Caleb, what did you learn about the downfield passing attack in the second half? Like how that was able to come alive that you think you can apply to earlier in the game?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to small details for me. I think it comes down to footwork, getting in rhythm faster, and then small details for us in the passing game, making sure everybody is where they need to be, and communicating that properly, and just creating the right mindset on those drives and going into the drives.
See these guys again in 13 days.
Yep.
What do you learn?
What can you take from today that can help you then?
Yeah, we need to start faster.
It's the moral of the offense all year. If they need to start faster every single game, it's a interesting conundrum that they aren't able to just get rolling right away, because in the second half you can see it can be an explosive offense. They can get things going pretty quickly. They have plenty of playmakers, Caleb Williams included. I don't understand why it's such a slow start all the time and why he's inaccurate in the pocket, and then when he gets out on the run, all of a sudden he can throw it in between defenders' hands and perfect balls. Hopefully it gets better over a period of time as he gets older. He's only year 2. It's year 1 with Ben Johnson. There is a long way to go with this team, and the future is super bright.
We need to start faster. We need to start faster, and I think that'll do us well. As a team and as an offense, especially. That's something that they did better than us today, I would say, and then they made plays at the end of the day. A few more plays than us.
But how would you describe the emotion of Lambeau Field?
Great. Yeah. The energy. You love being in these games. You love being in these competitive games. You love being in these high-stake games. You love being in away games and things like that. And that's what it's going to take. You got to win on the road. Half the season is on the road. Playoffs, a lot of times on the road. And so just being able to cherish these moments and learn from them, whether it's a win or a loss, is really important.
There was both the Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams press conference and the reaction. Go ahead and comment if you like the 4th and 1 call. I think it's going to be controversial. It's going to be a big talking point all week in sports radio and on podcasts and on YouTube channels, including mine. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you want to see more videos just like this. Subscribe to Claws Up, Bear Down, where we lock into all things Chicago Bears football. This was the reaction clause. Thanks for watching. Check out another video right here. See you next time. Peace.